Hi everyone, my name is Rishabh, as Ash has already introduced me. I am currently placed at Thorogood Associate, and my position is Business Intelligence and Analytics Consultant. Interact with the clients on a one-to-one basis. The Thorogood process is a little bit different from the others. She asked me different scenarios, like tell me about a time when you were in a problem and you used your skill set to get out of it. A good skill set comes in handy even after you get a job, after like 5 or 10 years down the line.
So hi everyone, welcome again to UpScale Talks. So we are in middle of a series wherein we have brought in some of your seniors who are currently placed into their dream profiles. So for today's session, we have Rishabh Gulati amongst us. So Rishabh is currently placed at Thorogood Associates. He is also currently pursuing the position. He holds the position of placement coordinator at Delhi Technological University. So hi Rishabh, how are you?
Hi Archit, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, same here. So can you just tell us more about yourself? So that would be better. And then we can move ahead with the session.
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, my name is Rishabh, as Archit has already introduced me. I am currently placed at Thorogood Associates, and my position is Business Intelligence and Analytics Consultant. And currently I am also interning with them for a period of 6 months. And for the past 2 years, I have been preparing my profile, and I have given many exams for my MS. I am trying to get into the Masters of Engineering Management program in different universities. I gave my GRE in, I guess, 6 months back from now, 6 or 7 months back. And I also hold the position of placement coordinator, the interviews of which held in our 6th semester. And at the end of our 6th semester, we were given the responsibility of the placement coordinators, while the transition of our seniors happened from their student life to their job. And I have been holding the office for placement coordinator for my branch since the month of June last year.
So I think Rishabh, you might already have a lot of experience, and surely we can discover a lot of that in the coming session. So yeah, we can now move ahead, and can you probably tell us more about the Thorogood Associate? So we know that this is somewhat associated with consulting profile. So it would be better that if you can give us a detailed explanation about what actually Thorogood is.
Yeah, sure. So, Thorogood, like any other non-tech company, is a consulting firm. The main difference that separates Thorogood from other consulting firms like the Big Four, MBB, etc., is that it is mainly a technology-driven and a technology-centered consulting firm. And the position varies from other companies' positions, like many consulting firms visit our campus, like KPMG, Bain, ZS Associates, and others. And generally, the position that they hire from are associates or analysts and some different names. But the position that Thorogood hires for is business intelligence and analytics consultant. So the primary difference that comes from it is that in other firms, the students that are hired from our engineering universities and engineering colleges, the positions are generally in the back end or mainly in the amalgamation of the back end sector and the front end consulting sector, the people who generally talk to the clients. So in Thorogood, when you are hired as a business intelligence and analytics consultant, you get to interact with the clients on a one-to-one basis. So you are given the position of a front end as well as a back end. There is no differentiation between that, and you'll only do the back end work, and the front will be done by someone else with a little bit more consulting experience. You are trained on every parameter, you are trained on every basically talking points, whatever the company feels like you need practice on, and you're trained on all the technologies that they use. There is nothing extra about that. You don't have to have any prerequisites if you do not know anything. This is not a negative point. It doesn't mean that you will not be able to sit for the placement process of the Thorogood Associates or you will not be selected. So the company basically looks for your skills. How good are you? And let's get to that a little bit later. So
Sure, Rishabh. So probably you can tell us more about the placement process, like from the day one when the company got listed until the date that you got selected for the Thorogood Associate. So can you tell us what actually were the mindset that you were going through in that particular time, and how did the process go? Like how many rounds were there? And also, it would be nice for our viewers if you can tell us some experience about your interview, how actually you handled that pressure, or some of the question that you remember from the interview.
yeah, sure. So the Thorogood process is a little bit different from the others. Basically, it is a little bit lengthier than the others, and it started with the basic CV shortlisting. And after the company had the profiles of many students, some were selected for the next round. And after CV shortlisting, there was an aptitude test. Aptitude test was another elimination round, and in that the basic aptitude consists of if you have been preparing for any competitive exams like CAT or GMAT, etc. So you might know the questions are very basic. Like I won't say very basic, but it is nothing new that concepts you don't know. It is basically testing your mental ability, your fast maths, and your ability to solve questions or difficult problems, catch around the wordings of different types of questions. And after the aptitude round, there was an HR interview round, which was also an elimination round. So HR interview round was one of my first interviews that I got into, as I did not apply to many firms, as the primary focus was for my masters. But I thought that getting a placement would be a good backup and a good opportunity if I want to change my pace later on. So in the HR interview questions, I remember one or two of the questions. They were basically based on scenarios. Like the person who took my interview, she asked me different scenarios. Like tell me about a time when you were in a problem and you used your skill set to get out of it. Tell me about a problem. Tell me about a time when you were leading a team and you had conflicts in your team. So how did you resolve that? On the basis of that. So there were many other questions on these lines, and these are all scenario questions. I don't remember all of them, so these were just a few. So after the HR interview round, this was also an elimination round. The next, the next round was the assessment center. So the assessment center is basically what sets apart the process of placement in Thorogood from other companies. So assessment center lasts one whole day, and you'll be sitting in front of your computer from 9 in the morning, 9 or 10 in the morning, till 4 or 5 in the evening. You do get breaks in between. And there are basically 4 rounds in the assessment center. The first round, consists of a case study round. So this case study round is basically different from others, as you are given a case study and you have 1 hour to study it. You are given a lot of mathematical data, a lot of calculations for it, and you have to make a PPT for it by choosing your correct answer. So I remember that I was given a situation where I am an employee for an investment firm, and I have been given 3 companies to invest in. The company basically, what my company basically did in that scenario was invest into some companies, work with them for a couple of years, and when the company they invested in became profitable, they take out their share and generate a profit from that. That is what the income was. So we were given 3 different companies, and we had their business data and their future plans and etc. We had to choose based on the given data and based on their plans and the funding required. So in which company to invest. So that was one of the most difficult tasks in the assessment center, because I had been preparing for case study interviews only a little while back, as placement was not my primary goal. So I had only 15 to 20 days, or let's say a month of experience in studying what a case interview is and how to solve a case study. So that was one of the most challenging part for me. And next, after that round, we had a group discussion, GD round. In that, we had students from our university and students from other universities also. So in around, there were around 10 students in our batch, and the GD went on. We were given some couple of topics to talk about, and the GD was based on HR questions only and scenarios like you're employee of a firm and some customer wrongly accuses the firm for something, and how will you protect the brand image and etc. And there were many different scenarios, 4 or 5 scenarios in the line. So we had to come up with a solution altogether. So more of like it was a group, more or less a group discussion, then a group project kind of thing. You can say that. After the group GD round, there was a fact round, a fact based round. So in that, I had an interview, and this was more like a normal case study round that you might have heard of. But different than case study, I was given a scenario that an employee for a company is moving to a new city with the family, and you are an employee of the same company, and you have to help them with the logistics and find a suitable place for them to live. And we were given some different shortlisted options and different details about the rent and the nearby areas where it is placed, and distance from both of their offices, and amenities nearby, and what are the basic requirements of the family. So we had to find out the best option for the family, keeping in mind their needs and their wants, and the business and the distance travel to their offices and etc. This was also very tiring around because this kind of thing, this kind of questions, I had not practiced it at all. This was completely new to me. So after the fact round, there was another HR interview round after at the end of the assessment center. So this was a bit similar to the previous HR round, and it lasted only 10 or 15 minutes. And the questions were on the similar basis, but morely focused on my projects, like what I did, what was in my CV, what was in my profile, what was I proficient in, what was I good at, and so on. So this is basically the overview of what the Thorogood process was, and it lasted around 10 days and 10 or 11 days, if I'm not sure. And this was one of the longest process in the non-tech consulting sector that our college had handled, and I know the insights because I handled many other companies which are non-tech firms.
So, so Rishabh, I think first of all, congratulations to you on clearing all the steps one by one. You mentioned a lot of process that you were going through.
Thank you.
But okay, so now let's move on to your preparations, because you mentioned that you were not sort of preparing. Your primary focus was never the grabbing a job or getting placed. You were always focused towards the masters. Also, you were the placement coordinator. So I have a particular question for you planned at the end. So, you can quickly tell us about how you went for your preparation. Then we can move on to the next question.
So yeah, as you said that I was focused in my masters, so that is true. I started my journey to prepare for my masters and build my profile for that in my second year, and I had been preparing for like at that time I didn't know that which program I might go into. So I was preparing in a general profile, like whatever profile that I go into, I can get an acceptance from different universities. But in the middle of the third year, I got a sense that I don't want to do a master's in mechanical engineering or automobile engineering, because in the first 2 years of my university, I was part of different tech societies. I was part of Deltic Baja, and we made an off-roading ATV, and we participated in different competitions. So that was something that I was interested in. I wanted to do an MS in automobile. But then after I changed my track to engineering management, when I found out about the different future opportunities that it came with.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know that the end of the third year basically stirs up everyone about the placement process, that only 5 or 6 months are left, or 3 or 4 months are left starting the placements. So that is a very tense timing for many of us, and especially for our batch, as everything happened online. We were separated from each other. Everyone was in a home. Like many of my friends were somewhere out of the state, somewhere overseas. So we had to go about that, how to prepare for it, how to do it. Primarily, I was not focused into getting a job, and this only came by around 1 month before the starting. So the placement process for non-tech companies started in the month of August last year, So I can say I started my preparation during the first week or the second week of July. Like I thought that might why not just get a placement for a backup and let's say where the future takes us. So it's good to have a plan B in your hand. I started sitting down with my friends, having Google Meet, Zoom calls, and preparing about different questions. Some of my friends who were preparing for CAT and GMAT and other exams, they had already begun these kind of preparation, and they were much more skilled at them than me. So having their help was one of the biggest plus point that came down in my preparation. And to be honest, I didn't put in much effort. It was all like everything that you have developed over the past 2 3 years all comes into account. Whatever have you done in the past, basically the past 6 months, that is when the preparation sets in. Like if you want to get a good placement right now, you you can start 3 or 4 months back. Not I'm not saying that you have to practice 4 or 5 hours every day. Just start watching YouTube videos about the case interviews. Just start reading case queries, case points, whatever you can get your hands on. Just start reading it. You do not need to practice them right away. You can start the practice like a month or month and a half before the exact placement season start. So yeah, that is what basically started my preparation. And basically, to get into a non-tech role, and I'm speaking from the perspective of a placement coordinator right now, preparing for a non-tech role, like a CV, a good profile is very important because many of firms basically choose you only based on your profile, only on your CV, whatever you have written. And first of all is your CV. So some students might do that, like we can write something like made up in our CV and we'll catch up later on, like what we can do. That is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make because the person interviewing you, because the person will be interviewing you and they have years of experience and they'll catch in a jiff if you are like lying about something, if you made something up, and they can track it down and it'll badly affect you and your performance. Even though if you are very good at your aptitude, your analytical reasoning, but if you have added some false presentations in your CV or your profile, it can have a really bad effect on you. And after that, like generating a skill set cannot be done in 6 months or let's say like 1 year. It is basically a time driven process. You must start it beforehand, not just to keep placement in mind that you have to generate a good skill set to get a placement. A good skill set comes in handy even after you get a job, after like 5 or 10 years down the line, even if you're not getting a job, even if you're not sitting for placements. It also comes in handy if you're doing anything else, even if you have your own business, you're doing a startup, or you're going for higher studies, anything. So a skill set is something that stays with you for the rest of your life if you consistently practice it. That's all. And taking part in different activities, like don't just limit yourself to your academics. Academics is a major part of your profile, but it is not the only part of your profile. And if you only have to write about your academics in your profile, your CV will be half a page, and that is the biggest turn off to a recruiter. So yeah, that is basically what I did, and that is what I would suggest everyone to go about for the placement process and the
Um,
preparation.
Sure, Rishabh. So I have a question over here. So let's say that you were the placement coordinator, and by the virtue of that, you got to interact with a lot of your peers who actually, there is some kind of people who are excellent at academics, done a lot of internships, but are still not able to clear the interviews. You might have interacted with a lot of them. So what advice can
Yes.
you give to the upcoming people or who are watching this video? So what should they focus currently on so that, if they're able to reach the interview level, so they can cross that hurdle?
So yeah, I have a lot of friends who are really good at the academic part of your profile, as you were saying. I have a friends who are 9 pointers, like scoring 9.5 CGPA since the first semester. Their aggregate CGPAs are off the charts, and they're very good on paper. But when it comes down to the interview process, what the interviewer is looking for when it comes down to the last process, they have already tested your abilities, they have tested your analytical skills during the aptitude round and whatnot. The HR round is what sees like what you are as a person and what you portray, because the image of any company is very important to them, and you being an employee for the company, you represent the company. So if you're not representing yourself well, how can they believe that you can represent the company well in the coming future? So I guess you should be very good at your communication skills. Communication comes in at the top part. Even if you have like a 2 or 3 less points in your CV, but if you can make it up with your communication and your spoken skills and your speaking ability and the way you present yourself, that can be a very, very major part of you getting placed into your dream company.
Sure, Rishabh. I think that was a lot of the knowledge transfer sessions that we had from a PC. So thank you very much for joining us for the session. Any last remarks you would like to add, or any advice that you would at the last want to give to the viewers watching this video?
Yes. So I would like to say that you must decide what you want to do a little earlier in your academic life. I'm not saying that you should know what you are doing since you're 12th standard or your school. But when you get into the university, the first 2 years you're trying to figure out like what you want to do, how you can fit in, and you're trying different clubs and societies and whatnot. You're like trying to build different skill set to find out what interests you, what you are good at it. And I'll say by the third year, like the starting of the third year and the end of the third year, this like 2 semesters, fifth and sixth semester, I must say, these are the 2 semesters that you basically make your ground in. Like you set up take the first 2 years to find out and try out everything that you like, and take the third year to build it well. Like in my case, I had my mind to go to a foreign country to do my masters, and I have been preparing for the last 2 years for it. So in my third year, I built up my profile. I did projects under different professors and different things. I did different courses and got different assessments and certifications. So try building your profile and work at least on 1 year that you're good at and the thing that you want to pursue your future in. And that is, from my experience, the best time to do that is your third year. So that is what I would want to say to everyone out there.
Sure, Rishabh. We will surely have one more session about the profile building that you were talking about, so that it can let our viewers know in much detail what you were trying to explain. But for today's session, I think that would be enough. Thank you very much for joining us for this session. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Thank you for having me, and all the best to everyone who's watching this video. And I hope that you get some of a sense to what to do. And that's all. All the best.
Thank you.